everyone, this is Corey with Sims Investment Management. This is another monthly market update, and it is June 2023, and the market continues to recover a bit this year. Earnings have been pretty well received here in the second quarter of 2023. There's been a couple big technology earnings reports that have come out much better than expected, and so the market's responded favorably to that. We also just got through some of the debt ceiling drama, and I think it was Churchill that said politicians never let a good crisis go to waste, and we certainly saw that again the past few months as Washington went back and forth on the debt ceiling debate. And, I think it's important to realize, and there's a good article that we'll include in the resources, what they came to terms with wasn't necessarily a debt ceiling raise, but they're kicking the can down the road a little bit longer. Let's see. GDP numbers, job reports, all of that continue to point to the fact that we may have a recession later this year or early next year. Some of the suspicion is that the Fed will not be raising interest rates anymore, or if they do, it will be ever so slightly in the next few meetings, and that'll be data dependent. So, some people continue to ask, well, why is the market going up if there's still all this overhang and all these unknowns? And like we've talked about before, the market tends to be 12 to 18 months forward looking. So where will we be in the middle of next year and into maybe the end of 2024? We'll have another political election cycle during that time frame. And so this doesn't mean that there might not be some turmoil later this year, but it does mean that maybe the market bottom last October, when the market was down 25% roughly from its peak, is the bottom. So time will tell. Regardless, it tends to be irrelevant for the long-term focused investor if we have your money parked in the right places. And fortunately, because of money market funds being up, with interest rates being up, we've been able to park short-term cash for clients and get a better rate of return on that than we really have in the past 15 years. So focusing on making sure we have our short-term conservative buckets funded when we need them, if it's short-term money. If we don't have short-term cash needs, then what about midterm goals or midterm needs? And if we don't need or plan on any cash needs in those buckets, then everything should be positioned more for the long term unless something changes. At which point, all of this is just noise and nobody's going to remember in months, quarters, and years down the road. There's a couple other really great resources this month. One of them talking about the myth of America's decline and what that's looked like the past 3 decades and how we've actually gotten stronger. A really fascinating article and chart that shows the over 2,000 cryptocurrencies that have failed and how people kind of forget about that because of the crypto craze and everything that tends to be in the news. And then a really great article, our feature article that just talks about having faith in the future, right? So we stress that you need to have faith, discipline, and patience in order to be a successful long-term investor that's trying to build financial freedom and wealth. And certainly the past 3 years have tested all 3 of those characteristics. But we firmly believe if we can continue to have faith in the future that things will continue to get better, discipline to our financial plan, and patience to let everything work out, that we'll be in a much better place many years down the road. So that's it for this month. Hope you have a wonderful summer. If this video would be helpful, please feel free to share and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks, and we'll see you next month.